Hello and welcome to chapter 207 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is Joe. Joe, how you doing today?
Well, sometimes as always, sometimes not. Uh doing I'm doing okay. Obviously I've been gone for a while. I'll say it here. My dad passed away last month and I had to take some time off for all that. And I Travis, appreciate you holding the fort down a few weeks back. I also understand that, we had nothing really to talk about the last couple of
Nothing.
those weeks. But yeah, no, I'm back. Life is still going on. Some of it sucks, but hey, it is what it is. Cancer sucks. F cancer.
hmm
Just saying that right
hmm
now. But no,
Yes.
I'm doing okay. How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing well, Joe. I'm glad to have you back. We were talking before the chat. It's been a little while since we've done a stream,
Yeah, so
but
we had to like get caught back up.
it's only been one chapter. Like I did one solo. Like you said, we haven't had much news. It's been tough in the DC side of things. A lot of animation dropping lately. I'm like, what's going on here? All the awesome animation, but we got a snowstorm here that started on Wednesday, and it has not stopped. It's still going. We are at, I want to say, 70 plus centimeters right now. So we're in the 30 plus inches for my American friends here. And it is crazy. It's still going. We're supposed to get another 20 centimeters over the weekend. I have been shoveling nonstop. There are blisters upon blisters on my fingers because when you go back to school for 3 years to change your career, you don't really have in the budget to get a snowblower, which almost every person has a snowblower. And Joe, that's my biggest thing. I walked the dog. The dog still is like part husky. He loves the snow. So I
Love it.
walked him this
Good.
morning around the block, and I want to say I passed at least 27 snowblowers. People coming out
So
snowblowing their
and
driveways
that's
like with ease, and I'm there like
and
shoveling.
that's
Yeah,
I
just a
like
sucker.
shoveling because I depending on the how much snow we get, but I do have a snowblower. Although it's an electric snowblower, so the batteries kind of go out quick on it. But I have multiple batteries I swap it out with when
hmm
those ones die. Um, yeah, actually, I got like that one off of I think eBay for like $200 or $300. Like it's not
Ooh,
wasn't too bad. Now the batteries were expensive
yeah,
because you definitely need to get more batteries when you are using that thing. Because the ones that come with it, they die. Mm, I'm not gonna say quick, but like quick enough,
yeah.
and then you're sitting there with like half of your driveway plowed, and it's just like, well, what do I do? Like,
Because
I
I'm
need
going to
I
sit
need to
down for
finish this up.
3 to 5 hours until it recharges, and I'm
Yeah,
back again.
exactly.
Like you
Yep.
said, the
And then
multiple
by that
batteries
point,
is
you're
key.
you're it's already you already got another 20 centimeters of snow. And it's like, well, shit.
Yeah,
So
that and
yeah, no, it's
the plows are my mortal enemy. Every time I get the
every time.
driveway all shoveled, all perfect, look out, and there's a gigantic plow coming again. And the most infuriating thing, and you see it, Allison told me, you see it on some of the message boards for the town. I have to shovel out into the street. Like I have to shovel the curb, the sidewalk. Like they don't plow anything. I'm shoveling out into the street. They're such bad. It's very frustrating.
So I've actually this past year, and then whatever snow we're gonna be getting here soon, I've actually started to shovel all the way across the street to
Ooh,
try and give at least when they and maybe even like out a little bit both ways from my curb. That way, when the plows eventually do come through, it's not all coming back into my driveway.
smart,
So
smart, smart.
I
That's a
don't do it
veteran
very
move.
often.
Veteran
Yeah,
move. It just you get that takes extra effort. Which
it
again, when you
does.
do a lot
It
of the
sucks.
shoveling, it's tough. But
It's a good workout though. Like
yeah,
it really
like
is
you
a good
said, it
workout.
is. That's what Allison says. She does take turns. Last year she was pregnant, and it was
Yeah,
all me.
probably
So
shouldn't.
at times I was very frustrated, just like there by myself. So yeah, I hate the snow, but I love it at the same time. So without further ado, Joe, we have an animated film to talk about. But before we do that, let's get the network plugs out of the way. And I want to say quickly, I think the survey's up for one more day for the GUA survey. So if you could take some time, please, to fill that out, that would be greatly appreciated.
Oh,
It
and
helps.
obviously we're not Marvel Alliance because they're
Yeah, off the top
we should
too.
probably talk. We should probably say that.
We should have opened with that, but yeah, we're not Marvel
Yeah,
Alliance. We have switched stays with him. They are going tomorrow night, of course. Most of the time when there's a film, people will be going that. Sometimes myself and Joe will go earlier on Friday, like at 7 p.m. Eastern or at 7:30, and be done in an hour. Depends on the show. What we have, we don't mind if it's Marvel. If it's Marvel movie, they go 9-10 p.m. Eastern time. So there is time to do a show on Fridays as well. It just depends on our schedules. Thursday kind of lined up for us today with the movie. They're reviewing Madam Web, and myself and Joe were part of Morbius. So good luck, guys. I hope you guys join everyone, all the people in the chat, join Marvel Alliance tomorrow night for their review of Madam Web. Oh, God. So let me get the network plugs out of the way before we talk about another, oh, God, film. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 7 shows in total. On Mondays, bi-weekly is Ranger Alliance. On Tuesdays is a Walk Through the Multiverse. On Wednesdays is the Animation Nation. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance. And Saturdays is DC Alliance. And Sundays monthly is World's Finest True Believers. Star Wars Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Marvel Alliance goes live Thursdays at 9-10 p.m. Eastern Time. And DC Alliance goes live Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. All 3 of those shows also have their own podcast feed. Search Marvel Alliance, DC Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance if you just want Marvel content, DC content, or Star Wars content only. But if you want all 7 shows on the GUA Podcast Network, stay subscribed to the GUA on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. The $1 tier is basically a tip jar. You like what we're doing, you want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extras. You get your ad-free episodes, early access to episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Myself and Joe are going through all the DC films through the year, so stick with us as we cover everything from Batman 66 all the way up to the start of the DCEU. We also have Chris and Brent's entire Infinity Saga, over 30 pieces of content up for Patreon. We have Clay's Marvel Snap, we have Joe's Multiverse Minutes, and we have Katie going through Star Wars comics. We thank everyone that's a patron. But if you're not a patron, if you can take a quick 30 to 60 seconds to rate and review the podcast on your podcast app of choice, that's always greatly appreciated. It helps other people find the shows, and that's always a good thing. Boom. Done.
There you
Woo-hoo. Go. Okay, listeners. I've already reviewed this on the Animation Nation, but
you did.
I'm excited to talk about this with Joe. Joe was waiting for the Steelbook to arrive. Well, I thought you were waiting for the physical release.
Oh, I got the physical. Yeah, it came out back in the.
It came out in the 23rd. I reviewed it like in between the digital and the physical.
Physical release, I thought came out like beginning of January. Late January.
20s, in the 20s. I think the 23rd is my guess. If I'm
that sounds right.
Yeah.
And
it came out digitally early, like the 5th or the 6th. Yeah.
And because things going on, obviously didn't have a chance to watch it, but I finally sat down and I watched Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. Yes, I know you had covered it over on Animation Nation. I also know you did a quick little blurb about it.
Yeah.
I think the last episode. Look, man, I'll be honest. I kind of liked it. I did kind of like it.
I like one storyline.
I will say, one thing I am upset about is scratch that. 2 things I'm upset about is DC coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, it was always planned for only having like 10 movies or whatever." I'm like, bullshit. I've got the Blu-ray cases that say otherwise. Secondly, I'm also pissed off at the Blu-ray cases because instead of continue on with that DC universe for the Crisis, they got rid of that and now it's just the one picture. I'm like, you fucking. I'm so mad. Don't
want to go that extra mile now, Joe.
You got 3 movies left. At least finish out what you can. I can be upset with not having a complete DC universe, but now you just ruined anyway. So okay, let's talk about the movie. Let's talk about the movie proper.
Yeah.
I did listen to, after I got done watching it, I listened to Animation Nation. You had Nick and
Chris
on. Chris Evans, that's right. Good episode. Really enjoyed it. I know they both did not like it.
I think I liked it more than them. I think I liked it more than them.
Well, and they kept saying like it's not a they're not going to tell you to not watch it, but they're not going to like encourage you to go watch it. And I know even you had said like maybe if the next 2 episodes could be better, you could put this one in a new light. I thought for the story that they told through this Tomorrowverse, this wasn't bad. I will agree with you. We should have had maybe a Flash movie prior. We should have had Iris prior. But the story that they had with them in this movie was compelling. Was really good. I know you. The biggest thing for me was it is Christ on Infinite Earths, and they promoted it like that, but we didn't actually get the Crisis stuff. Like the Crisis storyline was very lackluster in their, I guess, for the movie. Like when they did kind of have it in there, it wasn't the movie. The movie was Flash and him going through whatever he's going through, and that's fine. Especially since I have actually recently reread lead up into Crisis. I say recently, within the last like year or two.
That counts as recently, and
it's recently for especially in the comic book world.
Yeah.
And Flash had a giant lead up, like the whole him being on trial before going into Crisis was a big part. So Flash, I mean, it was supposed to be. When I read it, it was kind of crap. But that was also, 1980s writing. But like even in Crisis by itself, Flash was a big player leading into the events of Crisis, like in the events of Crisis.
Joe, can I say one thing? There is a behind-the-scenes video from WB Entertainment on YouTube that pretty much is just hammering home Joe's points here about the Flash and his involvement in Crisis. Like they show old comic panels. They have Marv Wolfman, they have Jim Lee, they have other people talking about the significance of the story and the Flash and what happens to him. So yeah, this is really hammering home Joe's points too. So please go check that out.
Yeah, which is why I'm not upset of this movie just being all about Flash. And it works. Like him, like we open up and he's waking up in the lab. We see basically the beginnings of the Flash. And then there's another being there that eventually we find out is old Barry Allen Flash that had come back. And one thing I did like about that is they also, I know you're upset about the post-credit scene of the Dark Knight. Long Halloween. That's what it was.
Yeah.
The Long Halloween.
Yeah.
And how, like, we got a payoff, sure, but, like, yeah, I understand you're upset by that.
But we also got another, make sense to me.
Sure. We also got another payoff, though. Because in this one, he, as old Flash, is trying to go back because the Spectre told him to go back. He sees the War World Bruce in I can't remember.
That's in the movie too. That's in the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I didn't know what the hell was going on. Yeah. Yeah. Which okay, that's fine with me.
But I really wish they would have had more of that through maybe like the last 3 or 4 movies.
Yes.
Not just War World. Like in the Supergirl one. In what was before Supergirl?
Just Supergirl's War World, Supergirl.
It would have been dark. It would have been Long Halloween, I think, just before.
Beware My Power or Long Halloween, 1 to 2.
Might be Beware My Power.
I think it was Beware My Power because it went from that to it went from Long Halloween in credit scene to here's Beware My Power. We have a watchtower and we're all So
and that's when you were like upset.
I think that's my problem with this film too, Joe, is I put more stuff because of the universe, and I think that's not fair looking at it now because I don't think they knew, even when Long Halloween was here, that they were going to end on 10 films.
They definitely didn't know.
I think that James Gunn came down, put his fist down, and it's not wrong. I don't care that he did that because, again, the animation has gotten downhill. I did not like the Tomorrowverse, so I'm not mad, and I also not complaining about some cohesion. No.
Yeah, but
So
I know one of your biggest complaints, we have talked about it, was the lack of telling us a story in between the stories.
yeah,
And now we got that here. It is late. I will agree with that. The Formula Justice League, because I did like that story. I did like the story with the Mazo,
yeah, I wanted
and
to
then
see
how it
that.
played out.
Like, I was like, oh, this
But
is
yeah,
awesome.
that should have been its own movie.
Yeah,
by itself after Long Halloween. Like they should have done it.
Which you could have then introduce Iris and make me feel a little bit more for this
Exactly.
situation.
Yes.
So yeah, I think the
Yes,
whole
I'll give
thing
you
is
that.
this can be a really even better film if the film prior weren't exactly how they like landed for me.
If they had built the universe out correctly,
Mm-hmm.
this movie would have been good. I also want to say you were complaining about
The time
Earth
slipping.
3, the crime syndicate not doing
Yep.
much. In Crisis, in the comic book, they didn't do jack shit.
I know. I was
Like,
just hoping because they mentioned
showed that, like,
adaptation.
oh sure. But like that adaptation was great for the what was it? Crisis of Two Earths.
Yeah.
But that's a different universe. Something completely.
I
Actually,
was
it's
hoping
two
they would bring
universes
those
ago.
voice actors in. I know that you're not going to get what's his name, James Woods as Owlman, because
No.
you're probably never going to get. But I was hoping that they would try at least to bring some, because again, that's what I was hoping part of this crisis was. Like again, they didn't have to do a lot. I would have been okay with how they ended more if they were the same, even the same animation type. I wish it was like that. I wish that would make it unique. Like the Turtles Forever, for example. When you bring in other one, they had their own.
Okay,
Everyone's had, you know what I mean? That's what I was hoping this
Yes.
would end up being. Like if we see hypothetically, because there is tease out there, I don't know how true it is that Kevin Conroy did some voice work for this film before he passed away. It came in an IGN article that was lies about another role in Caped Crusader that he never did. So fingers crossed it's actually true. But again, if we get him in a different animation style in Tomorrowverse animation style, I'm not going to enjoy that nearly as much as just put it like it was. Like, that's one thing about the Spider-Verse too. You get them the way they look. That's what I was hoping for here.
And Spider-Verse did it good. You're right with the Turtles Forever. They were able to bring that in, and it works.
Yeah.
But and in theory, DC should do that. They have the ability to do that with all of this different animation styles.
This is like a direct video. It's not like some of these I'm talking about. Wanting them to reference is direct to video stuff that they still have.
Yeah.
They have all the rights to. Nobody else has it but them.
Sure, but we're not gonna get that.
No,
like
not for a direct to video. You're right. Not for a direct to video.
It is a simple thing to do, and they're not gonna do it.
No,
which sucks.
Which if this was theatrical. Maybe like if this had the momentum that the second Spider-Verse film had, maybe you might get some of these things. But again, I do understand when they have
Turtles
a chat
Forever
with you.
wasn't
That's
theatrical.
True.
That one. But regardless, I did enjoy this. Like I said, I enjoyed the story with Amazo. Like Barry saw what was going on and was able to figure out. No, he doesn't need to be treated like an enemy. Amazo is actually. He's doing this, and he treated him like a friend. To then, when we see his head there in the flash time, like it was beautiful. It was a really beautiful ending. I thought.
I did mention that was a beautiful moment. I think.
Yeah.
The whole Barry Iris, because that worked for me as watching 9 seasons of The Flash too. Like that.
Sure. Yeah. It made sense.
You don't need that backstory for me. I'm just speaking more general audience in terms of them falling for that character. But for me, like the Barry Iris story is one. I did enjoy the Flash time as well. I have a couple questions to ask you, Joe, about the whole thing. That I'm curious your thoughts. Did you notice who the bum was immediately?
Immediately. As soon as he started talking.
Okay.
As soon as he started talking, I'm like, that's an accent. And then he actually started doing magic against
that got me super excited.
3. It's like, that's Constantine.
Yes.
100%, that's Constantine.
And I'm like, is that the one that got flicked by the Spectre? I'm thinking yes, because Spectre was in this as
100%.
Well.
I need to go back and rewatch House of Mystery because I forgot. And I know that's only like
you only really need to
20 minutes.
You only really need to see the ending because essentially Spectre tries to save John and let him live peacefully in the House of Mystery, but John is so self-deprecating, can't have happiness. He hates himself, so he invents this terrible thing and he gets away from it. But
he basically became pariah.
Yeah,
from Crisis, which
Yeah.
kind of makes sense, especially
Mhm.
since Supergirl became Harbinger.
Yeah, that's another thing. Don't understand that. No setup. That's another. How are we gonna
Yeah,
get that? Like
I
she
was.
just comes in and acts, and you're like, when the fuck did this happen? Like, what? When?
Yeah,
Somebody show. I'm gonna get see that in
and I'm
part two. I
sure
know, but
we're gonna get part two. I'm sure they're gonna explain it there. I don't want to agree with what you guys said on Animation Nation that part two will focus on Supergirl, but because I want each one to be its own separate thing, telling the full story. But honestly, it would make sense if two focuses on Supergirl and we get both Supergirl and Barry dying at
Mhm.
the end of two,
Yeah.
so that then everybody can come together by three and save the universe. I don't know.
Or
I gotta
restart
put the
it,
question
or everything goes
restart it
together,
again.
and
Yeah,
we get to see creature commandos in the background somewhere. And we're like, okay, it's like
maybe,
the end of
maybe.
Crisis at the TV shows. Okay, but I'm hoping that the second and third part I'm going to enjoy more. I think the time slipping, if I saw that a little bit in the JSA World War III, where he just jumps once to the Earth, he doesn't jump back anymore until the very end of the film. If I saw a bit of time slipping there, I would have been. I was a little confused what was going on at times because they just kept jumping. Like they didn't say like I'm
Yeah, I caught
suffering.
on real quick. I caught on almost immediately. Maybe not immediately, but like
Iris said
he.
it like halfway through the time slipping again, and I was like, time
Well, she
slipping.
says that, but like it has him like starting out, and then like he's really confused when he's talking to Iris when he meets her at the diner
Hmm.
of like, oh yeah, I did, like we ordered this or you ordered this or we did this. Like he was he knew what was going to happen and he was already preparing for it while still living in the moment. So like it was two berries at the same time trying to
Okay,
reconcile, trying to figure out what's going on, because one knew what was going to happen and one was just
living his
experiencing
life.
it.
Yeah.
So like I picked up on that, and then when he went to, because after that is when it jumps to the present, I believe, fighting Amazo.
Hmm.
Present, using air quotes there. Um, but like as soon as he did like either the second time jump, or I guess it would be the third or the fourth one, I'm like, all right, I see what's going on. We're doing multiple storylines in one thing, and they will all converge. And then I also did like when he goes to Earth 3 and basically starts sucking the Speed Force unknowingly from Johnny Quick, which Johnny said multiple times, like, "Hey, my connection is lessened now that you're here." Um, like I then when Johnny does die, which I will admit the crime syndicate going out like little bitches kind of sucked, but whatever.
It was just like some of them. Superman, why are you flying? Or Ultraman, sorry.
Ultraman, yeah.
Why are you flying in to punch the way? I'm
That
sorry,
makes
you're not
sense.
Superboy. You're
No,
not
that
Superboy
makes
Prime.
sense.
You're not
Sure,
Superboy Prime. You're
but
not.
no, that makes sense for his arrogance. He thinks
Yeah.
he can punch anything and they'll just stop.
And,
Um,
and Green
but
Lantern, no.
yeah, he just
Just get
kind of gets
squashed.
He's done. Owlman just
Uses a nuke and still
knew
dies.
knew the thing and that didn't do squat. I did feel bad for Johnny Quick. Like I really
Yeah.
wanted Barry to save Johnny, but like as soon as he gets hit by whatever the first
Piece
time,
of
I'm like,
piece of like
yeah, it goes
rebar or
through him.
something.
And it's like, oh, you're dead. You're
Yeah.
done. You're not even trying. And then he
But
gets like the
this
car hits
happened.
him. The car switches him. Like, where'd that come from? But whatever.
This happened in the first film that kicked off all this when he went back in time. Flashpoint Paradox, sorry, in the
Oh
animated
yeah,
world,
yeah, yeah.
because he couldn't go back because Reverse Flash was there as well, siphoning off Speed Force. So uh, again, this stuff keeps overplaying, and I love that. I
It's
love that.
secular, which is
Yeah,
nice. Yeah.
yeah.
What was the last? Oh, but all that to say, him sucking up the Speed Force from Earth 3, which gave him like excess Speed Force, which made sense why he was time
Able to do the
slipping.
flash, and
I
why he's able to
really
do the
like that.
flash time for so long as well.
Yeah,
That makes sense
exactly.
because he's overcharged battery. So,
Yep.
uh,
I don't. So as for the monitor, I thought he did a good job. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the anti-monitor pretending to be the monitor, especially when he was very not confused but very shocked when the plan worked
Yeah.
at the end there with Spectre.
And
That
Spectre was a
wouldn't.
little like like back and forth with him. That I think Spectre knows who he actually is.
Well, of course, Spectre's
Yeah.
a being outside of time. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course he does. But like I wouldn't be surprised. And especially since this, while yes, it has the title Crisis on Infinite Earths, and you have an expectation of what it's supposed to be, they have, similar to the Arrowverse, CW verse one,
Change
they
stuff.
changed it up. This is changing up enough where I'm still enjoying it, while I can still go back and enjoy the books whenever I want to. At the same time, I can go and enjoy the CW verse version if I wanted to.
And I have a question for you, Joe, but I'm going to take our first ad break before I ask you it. Listeners,
Sure.
we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to do a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, I got to ask, did you watch the teaser for the part 2?
I think, ironically, I watched it before I watched this, like a while ago when it came out. I don't remember it. I didn't have a chance to watch it again.
What do you think? You have mentioned it. What are some of the things you think is going to happen in the final 2 parts? Anything that you can concretely think that, well, not concretely, anything that you might guess will happen, obviously, besides the Supergirl death that we already talked about?
I can see, like I said earlier, Supergirl death. I can see a Flash death, because I think while Supergirl is integral to Superman, Flash is integral to everybody. That has been made obvious in this first movie. So him dying will, I think, spark everybody to kind of kick into high gear and stop the anti-monitor.
Yeah.
Now having the past and the futures fade away, I believe, if I remember correctly, tracks with Crisis. So I think that will be interesting to see. I think we'll get them back at some point.
One other question. Do you think there's going to be any legacy at DC Animation in the final 2 parts? Could we see another Earth with something like Batman Brave and the Bold, or Young Justice, or Teen Titans Go, or...
So what I think will happen by the end of it, it's gonna be, it'll be like how Crisis is. All the Earths will be merged into one, and that one will go forward into the new DC universe. Whilst, like, and similar to how it happened in the comics, we technically didn't know that we had a multiverse again until later.
Yeah.
I think we will still have a multiverse, and I think those will, the Young Justice, the Teen Titans,
those things will live on in other worlds.
Will exist, but we won't know about it for some time.
Okay. That's I'm interested to see what these final 2 parts are going to bring. And Joe, we will talk about the other 2 parts when they drop here as well. We'll have a nice discussion about both of these.
Yeah, and I'll watch it when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Yeah, and
that's what I wait to.
The digital for me, and I see DCWB still hasn't learned about the difference that both should release at the exact same time, so that the whole movies aren't up on YouTube. And
there was a time where they did. There was a time where they actually had them, there was like 5 movies.
Yes, and there was a digital code in half of them. Like, here you go. Here's a digital copy as well. Like, you waited time for physical release, but people like digital, I guess. It's very frustrating at times.
Don't get me wrong. I got upset because I was looking through my movies and forgot to upload basically from Beware My... Well, no. I guess it would have been Beware My Power On. I had uploaded them all, like, because I got the digital code. But all the ones prior, The Man of Tomorrow, the Batman, both Batman movies, like, I had forgotten to upload them, and now I can't because the code expired.
Yeah. Dang code. Okay,
Joe,
we're going to drop...
They're definitely, like, the scratching into that quicker, or stopping that quicker, because I have plenty of movies that were like 3 years old, and I put the code in and I was able to get it. But now it's like, oh no, it's so late. Can't do
Have
it.
you heard, Geekverse, have you heard that James Gunn said that Peacemaker will remember the DCU? I haven't heard that, but if it is, I'm sure it will be quite funny.
I would not be surprised if they try to make
I can see
Peacemaker out to
him
be like
Deadpool.
no, well, I was gonna say Psycho Pirate, because in the comics, Psycho Pirate is the only one of like a handful
That
who
remember.
remembers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he'll make jokes about the other universe.
I think it's
You're
what's going
not
to be.
Superman,
At the
or
same
like
time,
when he
though,
sees
like I don't. John Cena's getting old. He's not going to be sticking around for Peacemaker for
no,
a
you're
while.
not going to be in.
We'll get season 2, but I doubt he'll be in any more movies. I would
I
love
don't
to be more movies.
I can see him being in more movies because he's not wrestling anymore. In 3 years, he's giving up wrestling. I heard that, like in an interview a couple weeks ago.
Really?
So
Okay.
I can see him doing this role for a few more years. Maybe he'll get a movie or two down in his belt as well. I know he could be one person that Gunn can call up to appear if he needs him. I feel like
True.
they'll have enough relationship for that. For us, I guess we'll jump into some news here, Joe. We got some new images for Joker Folie Du. And we were told it's not going to be a full-on musical. There's just going to be musical elements to it. These shots look cool. They look very artsy. So I'm excited to see this film. I didn't revisit the first film after I watched it the first time, but it was a great hit. I'm really curious to see how the second one is going to do with audiences, because I mean, Lady Gaga is pretty popular, and then to bring her in with who they have already as Joker, it's
Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah.
It's pretty much a slam dunk.
Yeah, no, it's going to be the pictures look amazing. Picture looks good. What little we know about Joker 2, I think will be fine. And I'm right there with you. I watched the first one in theaters, really, really enjoyed it. Haven't watched it again since. It's one of those movies where I'm not saying it has to be watched constantly. Like it's not very action heavy, which is fine. No. It doesn't need to be. It's more of a psychological movie, with the unreliable narrator and all that. Like I'll rewatch it before
the second one comes out.
The second movie.
Yeah.
And I know we'll probably get to it at some point on the DC Films Through the Years, and I'll get to it on my other show for Comic Rundown. But like that's about the only other time. Like so, 3 more times.
Yeah, that's not the type of film I want to revisit multiple times. Even though, like you said, I really enjoyed it. But it's there. I'd rather watch something more fun if I'm going to have multiple viewings, or something more like I don't know. I'm like I don't know, comedy too. So fun or action.
It was another podcast I was listening to where he was saying when you rewatch something, you want comfortability.
Yeah.
So comedies tend to do that. That's why you'll rewatch comedies left and right, because you're comfortable. It's a good time.
That makes perfect sense.
A lot of action movies, especially comic book action movies, are like that. You're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And you know what's coming, so you are prepared. Dramas, you don't really rewatch a lot of dramas unless, like, I'm trying to think of a drama that I've watched more than once, and just like a straight drama or like a crime dramas, maybe that's up there. But like just drama, no. Usually I just watch it the one time. I'm like, oh, this is a great movie. Then that's it. So
pretty much same with you there, Joe. And we also got from the man himself, Todd Phillips. Been getting this question a lot. This movie comes out in October, so our first teaser won't be out until mid-April. So that's when we're going to get our first teaser trailer for Joker. So that will obviously
that's pretty close. It's only like 2 months away.
We'll break down all our thoughts on that. Joe, I have to ask you, because you were away for this. What are your thoughts on the Supergirl casting? Are you like me and haven't watched House of Dragon because you were burned from Game of Thrones and don't know who this actress is? Because that's my
my girlfriend watches House of Dragon, and
there you go.
When she found out that this actress will be Millie Alcock, is that her name?
Yep.
Alcock. Or Alcock, whatever, how you say it. Like she's like, oh, she'll be great. Like she's really good in House of Dragon. Yeah, like I said, I don't watch House of Dragon because Doesn't matter what happens. Season 8 burned me,
Burn
and
me too.
I don't care. Just don't
Even
care.
though actually part of 7, when I saw that guy run back and get help, I
7
was
was fine. No,
I
7
was
was
like,
fine.
no,
There were
I'm
some
like,
issues.
you literally spent seasons walking to places. Like it took seasons to get to places on that map,
Sure,
and then that
sure.
guy runs back and gets the dragons. No, get out of here! You're not like
7
Flash.
had some issues. 8 was like, burn it all to the ground. We don't care.
Yeah,
We got that. We got that good Star Wars money that disappeared. We got the Netflix money that disappeared, and now you got nothing. You are nobodies.
reap
So
what you sow,
sure.
as Joe said. Uh,
HBO gave you the opportunity to do 10 episodes. You're like, no, we need 6.
yeah, that's frustrating too. It's
Anyway,
just
sorry.
very good show. But yeah, I'm with Joe there on that. Everybody else is saying that's great. Uh, there's this pretty cool thing where James Gunn shared the interview with Brandon Davis and Dave Bautista. He said, "Love Dave Bautista and would love him to be in the DCU, but where? Send me your ideas on threads." Like Clay said in our chat, a lot of people said uh, Hugo Strange and what was the other one that I can't remember now? Hugo, obviously not Bane. Bane was not one that was said a lot.
Which I think he'd be a good Bane. I would love
I
for
think
him to be
so
Bane.
too. I really would,
But no,
but
Hugo Strange, especially with the interview, like he looks like Hugo already with his
I think he'd
beard
do a
being
good
all
job.
gray. Yeah, like I just want him to be in the DCU. I like Batista. A little
I think
like
he'd do a good job.
a few months back I just watched My Spy again. That was one of his first ones, and well, maybe not one of his first ones, but it was up in his earlier days, and like it's not a great movie, but it's a fun movie. Had a really good time watching it. So
And I'm going to be honest with you, Batista is number 1 in the wrestler actors of all time, followed number 2 by John Cena, and number 3 by The Rock. The Rock is third of
Stone
those
Cold Steve
3.
Austin. Nah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Rock goes down a little bit lower. I do.
Look,
Joe, I
Rock
got
was
you.
fine. Rock was fine when he came out. When he first started acting, I'm like, okay, he's whatever. Like
Rundown was good. Walking Tall was good.
yeah, no,
I
those are
say both of
great.
those were
But
good.
like his first role being in Scorpion King, or I'm sorry, not Scorpion King, Mummy 2 was atrocious because he was CGI for half of his appearance.
Yeah.
Scorpion King was great, like you said, Rundown. Tooth Fairy, another one that was fun, fun little family film. But yeah, like over the last, I'll say, decade, he's got a big head, and it's like, no, my dude, you're just an actor.
Joe, I
Your movie
have to
sucked.
tell you, because he went back to wrestling,
Yep.
and I watched a video that came across my timeline on YouTube, and it was this kid yelling at The Rock to go to hell and leave, like watching Rock come back to wrestling and be like, "You suck, Rock! You killed the DCEU! You suck!"
Jesus.
I couldn't stop laughing.
The sad thing is, he didn't kill the
No,
DCEU.
he was like one of the
His
more
movie
popular.
made the most money out of the last 5. Like,
well, Aquaman. I think Aquaman made more at the end.
I think
there.
Aquaman. Finally.
But yeah, the Flash was supposed to do this amazing thing, and Black Adam ended up making more money than him. So yeah, but the kid yelling, it really made me laugh. It's just, I can't wait.
Like, I can't chastise The Rock for the
He
moves
made a move. He made a move.
He tried making moves.
He tried,
and it just didn't work. Like I can't chastise for that. He did what he thought was right at the time, and the hate he's getting isn't warranted.
I will say this
that.
too. I'll say this to DC fans. He would listen to you if he was the because he came back to wrestling, stole somebody's spot. All the fans flipped out, called him, and what did he do? He just turned evil and instead of being like this, everyone loves me, I'm going to be the best. So again, he listens to the fans. So I do think
because he comes from a wrestling background, he understands the fans are why you do this.
Yeah,
the fans are why you actually do the entertainment stuff. Now,
sometimes you got to stick the movie. You got to actually stick the landing.
Sure, but that was also a movie that was 14 years in the making. Like it was in production longer than it should have been.
Agreed.
So and a lot of that, I'm not going to blame him for that.
took two different regimes in time that he was
correct.
So again, I
So
hope in
it's
James
one of those
Gunn.
things where The Rock is fine. Like he's had a string of bad movies here recently, but like so I don't blame him once trying to go back to wrestling for a little bit to just try to get some money, try to save face. The way he went about it was wrong.
No, yeah.
But I'm
You
happy
killed
that he kind of
DC,
fixed that.
Rock. You killed the DC. Oh my
I
god!
would not go that far.
All I could think was like Clay would love to high five you right now, dude. Because the first thing I thought when he was yelling,
He would. He would.
I was like, you're just saying everything that Clay says
I
calmly.
still don't understand that man's hatred for The Rock, but
He must have loved a different wrestler or something, and The Rock did something to him. I don't know.
I used to like The Rock back in the day.
Same.
I
He
used
was
to
like
watch
my favorite
wrestling.
wrestler. He was my favorite wrestler. I haven't watched wrestling. I just picked it up a little tiny bit with the guy trying to finish the story. I was talking to Snell about it, Cody Rhodes. And again, Snell's kept me up to date in the time between, I think, WrestleManias. Yeah. So, again, this is, I saw this on ESPN. That's why I came across my desk that The Rock was being booed and stuff. So, yeah, maybe he might have better fitting, but I got some more positive news here. Nathan Fillion spilled the beans and said Superman Legacy will have a table read this week in Atlanta, and that he has fittings soon. So James Gunn was not that pleased about that, responding, "Oh, Nathan, he's definitely going to get a little. They're definitely going to get a little talking to. When,
probably
going to get a
but
breakdown, guys. Keep this on the down low."
Yeah, we are in the world where people are asking questions constantly about this stuff, and like James has been able to keep a lid on a lot of it. Like he's been able to kind of wrangle everybody. It's like, all right, this is what's going on. You can't say anything, especially since the last bundle of DC movies, things got out there left and right. So he's trying to keep everything in house as much as possible. I would assume that Nathan Fillion was like, well, we're friends. He won't hurt me too much.
What I would love to see, Joe, is they'd all come in for the table read, sit down. There's scripts in front of them. It's only 3 pages. You open it up, first page. If you spoil any of this movie, second page is James Gunn's head on that foggy gif of the sniper. And then third page, let's have some fun. And go on. Because, again, I like you said, I don't think he's going to do anything as Fillion. But again, I don't want too much to get leaked out because Gunn is doing a good job of keeping this stuff. And I want it, just like, for example, Deadpool and Wolverine. There were some pictures in that out there, but for the most part, they did a good job keeping that stuff under wraps.
But what I did like about that is Ryan Reynolds' response to all that. It was like, you guys are right. This is all of the pictures these are all the characters. And then he is uploading all these, I'm not going to say fake, but like these extra people in there. Like
Predator was in there at one point.
Considering this man leaked the test footage back in the day to get Deadpool to make 100%.
Complete career revival.
Well, I wouldn't say revival.
Well, he had a dumpster with the Green Lantern. Like he was on the oh no.
Sure, it was for comic book stuff. He still had other great movies out there, but that's
yeah.
I will say this though about the Nathan Fillion thing. What really kind of has my hopes up, not that I was really worried, is the fact that he's going in for a fitting, which means these costumes are going to be practical, which I'm here for.
Yeah.
That's going to be great. I'm not saying I hated the other Green Lantern all CGI stuff. I didn't like it, but they did what they did for that movie.
Yeah.
We're getting practical suits here.
I much prefer that. Same.
But I also understand, especially in the MCU, toward end of phase 2, everything started going like CGI for the suits, like Iron Man, or even what was the other one? There was another one. War Machine, obviously, but anyway. Spider-Man. That was the other one.
Let's take our final ad break of the evening before we finish off the news and our Smallville Retro recaps. Listeners, we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. We'll give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. So, Joe,
whoops.
Yeah. So Joe, we have to continue on here with the news. There's a rumor, and Gunn has responded to this, saying at least one of these rumors are not true. It was from the DCU Reddits before they basically shut down, or well, their source shut down. It was like a Teen Titans film is in early development for the DCU. Darren Aronofsky is in talks to direct Plastic Man for the DCU, and a Sergeant Rock film is in development at DC Studios. So one of those is not accurate. God has said at least one of these is not true. So I got to ask you, which one do you think isn't true? Which two would you say are true?
Well, he said at least one is not true, which means two could be not true. All three.
We're going to take the positive side.
No, I think the Plastic Man one is probably the false one. Not that Plastic Man isn't happening. That Darren Aronofsky is not going to be directing. Is going to be directing it. The Teen Titans. Thinking about what they have slated, it would have to be early talks. Like it could be possible.
Who's joining Batman?
Sure, you can't make a Teen Titans movie on one sidekick. You're gonna need the other ones.
They can already be established too, because these heroes are established. So you could do the thing that they did with the animated side of with Damian joining up with them, that they're already operational, and then you can have here's a way we introduce these sidekicks that are all working together.
I feel like maybe, because I was gonna say I feel like that Gunn is going like OG with all this, but if he goes OG, that means you're looking at Robin, Dick Grayson, Robin, Wally West, Kid Flash, Roy Harper, Speedy, Donna Troy, Wonder Girl, and Garth for Aqualad. Like you're looking at that. I don't think you got to do that because, especially when you got the Teen Titans animated and even Titans, which had a up and down popularity. But that's Beast Boy, that's Cyborg, that's Starfire, Raven, Robin, of course. Like and that's just like the main. You can. There's so many Teen Titans you can pick and choose. I don't know. Like I think that movie's happening. I don't think it's going to happen phase 1 or chapter 1, whatever the heck these are being called. It might be early chapter 2 because you're going to want to get the rest of these characters. You're going to need at least 3. You need at least 3 established. Robin's already established. Fine. You need 2 more.
Yeah.
And then they can get the other ones to come in.
The thing with me is they could have already had an established group because you're going to be operating with Damian as Robin. So ideally you'll have Dick as Nightwing. So he could already have the Titans going or have had the Titans going, and he left them again to go solo in Bloodhaven. You could have a myriad of other options. So
you could, but
we'll see. One because they said early development, I would choose that one as the true. I would think because you're narrowing down Darren Aronofsky, I would probably say that one's false. And a Sergeant Rock film that could be in development. That doesn't
Sergeant Rock's just fun. That's a period piece. That's great.
So I mean, give me that. I remember Blackhawks was another one that we were supposed to get for years, never happened. Give me that. I'll watch that as well.
Yeah.
But again, I did like how potentially one of them is here, and we had a interview with Frank Grillo about Creature Commandos. Some of the more important things here he talked about was that the project is going to be a rated R. That it's going to come out the end of the summer, beginning of the fall, and that he is going to show up in the DCU again. He's just not sure where at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's not
going to be in Legacy. Sorry. So again, this was a cool interview. It wasn't much extra said here, Joe. Like I looked through this before. He recorded with David Harbour and Maria Bakalova. It just saying James Gunn and Peter Safran's praises, but also kind of put down Kevin Feige,
which is a bad move. But
yeah, but you blew it. Like okay, yeah, just something that you would never be able to say. So
yeah.
Again, I'm excited for this, but still got a ways to go before we get to this. Some positive stuff here. DC and Marvel are collaborating to republish their crossover comics for the first time in decades in DC versus Marvel Omnibus and DC Marvel the Amalga Age comic book, Amalga Age Omnibus. Sorry. Uh, Good thing. I'm glad this is, and make no mistake about it. I do think Gunn coming on does play a role in these guys collaborating like this. I do think that him there.
So, quick correction: collaborating is a wrong word. It's
DC's publishing and Marvel's not publishing their side.
correct.
Yeah.
What it is, it's all of the DC books that DC published over the years.
Yeah.
The DC Marvel crossover from '96, which, if you guys go over to World's Finest True Believers, myself and Chris talked about that a couple months back.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, and having the amalgamage of books, that's exciting because outside of the trades that will never get reprinted, they haven't, like, I have all these issues, single issues. It took me a while to find them all. You're never finding them anywhere. So all of the stuff getting reprinted is great. And the hope is that this Marvel will see the how much money this is going to be making, because I mean, I'm buying it. I know Chris said he's already getting them.
And they put it.
Marvel will see the dollar signs and be like, "All right, we'll do this."
Disney's never been one to turn around a dollar.
No, yeah.
They'll take $1 from you right out of your pocket.
They've had some questions.
Yeah,
out of my pocket, sir. I go to Disney World every year. There, I got my money.
You're like, they got a direct link to me.
Exactly.
There was a little bit of the Hot Girl made some comments. The actress Isabella Mercedes that is playing Hot Girl. I did like how she said that it felt really professional, just for the tests with the other actors. Felt like a day on set. She talked about the helmet too. That the paint job is amazing. I can't wait to see her. Like you said, we're getting practical suits. I'm really interested to see
the exciting
how they're
part.
go. What do you think they're going to go with the wings for her? Do you think they're going to do CG wings, or are they going to do practical wings that they're going to touch up with CG? That's something, because again, I don't know. I know that, like, for God's sakes, the Ninja Turtles in the 1990s look realistic to me on the movie. So
I just rewatched those. Don't look as good as they used to.
Those, you can't say those. I'm talking the first one. The first one just always gets lumped in with the rest and never deserves it. It is the best of any Ninja Turtle film that has ever been out. And
sir, I literally just rewatched the first one within a few weeks.
You said
that episode's coming out soon on Comic Book Rundown.
I was like, don't lump 3 with 1 because it gets happens.
I never watched 3. Never watched 3.
You lucky son of a gun.
Well, I'm going to be watching it. I'm watching it soon. It's not as good as you remember. I'm just putting that out there.
I watched it like a year ago, and it wasn't as good as I remembered.
It's not.
Scott, where are you too? And you're. I remember. I remember the Patreon episode. I remember it.
As for, I think they do practical wings, and I say that, and it maybe it's like practical foot wing, like it's not the full spread. That's gonna be all digital, but like she'll have a strap on. That sounds bad. She'll have.
You paused for so long.
that was my fault. I realized what I said. Sorry about that. I really sorry. Woo! Somebody isolate that and send that to me. She will have like part of the wing on to give her, because I feel like if you have that on your back, you can, the way you move is different than if you don't. Yep. So if she has it on there, then she has to, like, dip her shoulder to like actually throw the wing, and not just dip the shoulder and they have to try and hope it matches up. I think it would be something that she'll actually be wearing like a backpack or some backpack, because she was Dora. She'll have something on to where they can like piece it together. I think everything will be practical. The wings will be practical. A quarter of the wings will be practical.
I just want to say too that in Black Adam, Hawkman's wings look fantastic. So I want to say that if you
And
do do it
those were digital.
CGI,
Yeah.
if you can do it well, that's okay. But like Joe, I'm right there with him. I like for the actress to have to use something practical because Joe said you do get extra movements, extra things that you're trying to match it up in
Yep.
CGI, and sometimes that doesn't always work out.
And if you have a point,
if you want an example of that, check out the movie that is going to be reviewed tomorrow night on Marvel Alliance at 9:10 p.m. Eastern time. Because
you can't say that you haven't seen the movie. You don't know how bad
I see the reviews.
The digital is.
I see the reviews, Joe. Someone said it's like
Look,
cut like 3 different movies into one.
Doesn't matter until you watch the movie. You can't bash the movie. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. You are right. It's correct. Okay.
Once you watch it, then you can bash it all you want, but you have to watch it first.
Superman and Lois premieres this fall, and we're told that by Betsy Tulloch that multiple deaths are going to happen in this season. Not shocked, considering this is the final season of the show.
But I swear to God, that this is their way of getting rid of like the irons, or
at least send the irons back to the other world, please.
Right?
Like, they deserve a happy ending. I don't care what you do with the Cushings, for crying out loud.
I mean, that would suck if they killed the Cushings off, though.
Yeah, that's true too. You don't need to do like Sam Lane doesn't have a prayer. Doesn't have a prayer. Lex Luthor's killing him quicker than you can. I mean, he got caught with the dating app. He don't have a chance. If he's filing for that kind of stuff,
good point.
He's done. He's done for.
That's a good
point. I'm excited for this. I can't wait for us to talk about it. But again, we have quite a wait, Joe. A lot of things are happening with DC until the fall. Creature Commandos will be out around that time as well. Yep.
We'll find ways.
So we got just one other comment before we get into a little topic I want to talk about before Smallville Retro recaps. Gunn slaps on Dr. Phosphorus for Creature Commandos. He said, I love Alan Tudyk's portrayal of Dr. Phosphorus so much.
Of course, it's Alan Tudyk.
Complicated character in Creature Commandos. Can't wait for you guys to see him. That gets me excited. I loved Alan Tudyk as Mr. Nobody, for example. I thought he was fantastic in Doom Patrol.
I just like Alan Tudyk. So, yeah.
There's not much that he's in.
That's the whole reason I watch Resident Alien, which go check that up. That show out. I'll be covering, because that just came back. I'll be covering that on A Walk to the Multiverse pretty soon. So yeah.
Another player just drove by. Oh, my nemesis. Okay, Joe, I want to have a little tiny discussion with you about this because this just happened a couple days ago. Fantastic Four. They released the names of the cast. It's going to come out July 2025, the same month as Superman Legacy, 2 weeks after Superman Legacy. Do you think Superman Legacy should move, or do you think they should hold strong and hope that Fantastic Four moves?
So Legacy has already moved once. Because it was supposed to be May.
Yeah. But that was the writer's strike.
Sure.
That was strike, sorry, not just the writers, the both strikes, sorry.
I feel like Legacy will stay. I think because they just announced the cast, I understand that they were already working on it. Doesn't mean it's going to be ready for July. However, if both hold, I don't know. I think Fantastic Four might actually beat it.
100%, because just in terms of Fantastic Four won't have to compete with Superman Legacy because it'll already be out for its third week when you're doing your first week. So you're getting all those.
Yes, but you want Legacy to have like a month.
That's what I want.
As number one.
Yes.
But that's not going to happen because of the backlash, or the, what's the right word?
Backlog.
The not backlog. The because of everything that DC Universe is bringing into this, and Superman Legacy being the first one, you want that to do wonderful. You want that to do good.
That needs to do Batman money, Joe. That needs to do Batman money.
It needs to do great money. And if you have Fantastic Four, with people have been looking for years, have been clamoring for years, it's gonna knock the legs out from under it on that third week. Like, there's no question about it. You know,
like what part of Wonder Woman's success was it had nothing to compete against and had legs for days. So you do have to, in my opinion, you have to scan the box office, because that's something that WB is not good at. I mean, like a few weeks ago, they
Oh God, no.
had two movies competing against each other in the same weekend. You're like,
Yeah,
are they
Wonka
Wonka
and
and
Aquaman.
Aquaman? You're like,
Which Wonka was good. I enjoyed
yes.
that.
And who, like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So
No,
again,
if I hope maybe we'll get lucky and Superman Legacy can move up,
yeah,
or like I said, maybe Fantastic Four gets pushed back a little bit. But I don't know.
because I'm not
It's
sure
gonna be
if a
rough.
July 4th is enough of a space, but people talk about that is doing the July 4th weekend. I'm not sure. I think I'm not sure if there's 1 week. If there's 2 weeks from when Fantastic Four releases to July 4th, then yes, I would be all for a move from where it is now to July 4th. But I do think, like I said, it needs to stand. It needs to have at least a month.
So here's the
Oh no,
well,
there's
I
a lot of
guess
other movies there.
well probably. Um I guess the July 4th they tend to because the 4th is a Friday in 2025. So they could, in theory, throw it out on that
Mhm,
Wednesday, on the 2nd, and hopefully get the 5-day weekend, um, which would be nice.
mhm.
But yeah, I agree with you on the game. If they can move up like a week, it would be good. Or if Fantastic Four moves back like a week or two. But I know Marvel has been pretty diligent on these are the dates we have.
Do you
If they get
guys
moved back,
have?
they get moved back like a month or two.
Do you
What?
guys have a May long weekend? Do you have a long
Mm.
weekend in May, a holiday? And you definitely don't. One more time, it's America here. Like, it's like, although Memorial Day, you guys got like 5 or 6
Why?
like Army Day
I
because we
mean,
have a long weekend in May. I'm not sure, like if it's
Memorial
a
Day, but that's in like what May 20.
yep, that's the
That's like
one.
the
That's
last week of
yeah.
May.
So if you can move Superman back to then, capture that
Move it,
long
move
weekend,
it up a whole month.
yes.
I
And
mean, I wouldn't say no to it, but like
I'm with all in the game here. It needs to have at least 3 weeks. I want to get a full 4 week gap. Yeah, obviously you're going to have
But
other
they
new
got it
films,
was
but
originally in May, like, but they got moved to July because of the writer's strike,
yeah,
and
but
well, both strikes.
well, just
Um,
light a fire under James Gunn's butt and get some post production going quicker than like get it a month quicker than you think. That's all.
I look if they can, that'd be great. But I'm assuming it's the back end. It's gonna be the post production that's gonna hold it up.
That's true as well, the CGI and the.
Yeah.
But again, if not, then go past Fantastic Four. Like, do something. I don't think it's. I don't think that game saying like 3 week gap. I don't know if that's enough for it to get the money that Zaslav wants it to make. Now I could be wrong about that, but I think he wants the Batman type money for this film. So
Yeah, and it's not gonna get that, especially with
not with
Fantastic Four
Fantastic Four
right on its
chopping them,
heels.
killing its
Yeah.
legs out from under it. So again, there is a way that both of these can make a lot of money. I'm just hoping
We
that
have a year.
WB goes back
We
to
have
like don't say like okay, we
we have a
gotta go
year and
right
a
here.
half.
Yep,
Like we have time,
yep.
but like
And like Joe said, Fantastic Four or Superman Legacy, something could happen during production where it could cause it to go back a few weeks. There is there are potential things that could make things go back in time. On the game also says
oof.
they're trying to get a new Jurassic World movie out on July 2nd, 2024. So the good thing about that for me is they don't
I
have a
forgot about that.
director yet, as I know that they've already had like basically a script predetermined. So they're like, you just
I
need somebody to
feel
shoot.
I feel like Legacy might beat World, especially I think the last
Oh
one didn't
yeah,
do as good as it wanted to. But Jurassic. I got one of my good friends at work. He's a big Jurassic Park fan, so
Taylor
he sees all
from
those old. Yeah,
Geekverse.
Taylor. Yeah, like
He is King Jurassic Park.
I've seen the first Jurassic World. I think I saw the second. I
I
don't
can't
remember.
remember them. I
I
can't
haven't
remember
saw.
them.
I definitely didn't see the third.
Also, an untitled Disney movie has been reserved for that date.
Yeah.
So again, it's going to be tough because you got all that backlog of movies and content from
It
time.
needs to move.
Like
I
so,
hate that. It needs to move.
I'm just hoping they pick a right. I think all the games in agreement with us. I think you need to pick a right date where you get at least 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. Obviously, we're going to get new films, but like comedies and kids movies. Like, just please don't get Fantastic Forward. That's all I'm hoping doesn't happen here. So, Joe, you were gone for a while. Smallville retro recaps that have been happening. We're into the fourth season, which I enjoy Erica Durance being in that, and we get to talk about my favorite episode of the season here because we've gone through 3 episodes since you've been gone: Facade, Devoted, and Run. And I want to ask your thoughts on the 3 of them.
I watched them.
Quick thoughts. They just minute max on each one. What do you think about that? You more on Run because I think Run is like one of the best episodes of the season.
Run was good. I know we had talked about that in our chat, where my only issue with Run was Lex not giving 2 shits about Clark being there after his precious page got stolen, and you had said like, oh, Clark is not having good excuses anymore, and Lex just lets him go. Like, come on, that's some bad acting.
I do love that. Rosemom's like, what the hell's going on, man? Like, Lex, you're like a billionaire. Like, ask him some fucking questions.
Right?
Like, he's like, why is this happening? Like, okay, you got no excuse.
Every single time you hear, and then Clark wonders why he's investigating him.
Rosemom says that too. Like, you wonder why I'm investigating you? Because you're lying. Everyone knows
all the time. So Devoted, I remember being it was an episode.
Those 2 other episodes I was not
definitely it was definitely an episode of very 2000s teenager hormones. Fine, whatever. The one episode 2, that's the one where they get Chloe gone. That's where Chloe comes back.
Yeah.
I remember that one being. That's one where I'm like, I called bullshit for their explanation of Chloe surviving. It's like,
not enough time.
Literally not enough time.
Pan out of the house. Give 10 seconds of panning out to the house before it explodes,
and then blow it up. Yeah. Not as soon as she walks in the door and the door is closing, as she's staring out the door and whatever. But the other thing I was starting to remember was the witches, which is going to be coming up soon. But the basically Jason and Lana stuff. She has literally 0 luck with her boyfriends. They all, because I know what happens with Jason, and I'm watching it, knowing what's coming in the future, because I remember that being kind of out of the blue, just came out of nowhere, and they tried to force it in.
When I read your message, I thought about it, and I was like, oh my God, you're right. Like, she came out of left field, and you're like, what? And then they try to tie it in a little bit more next season with the Armitage group or whatever the group was, the Traveler shit.
But that's the other thing. Like, they tried to tie it in, but at that point, Jason and his mom are gone. Like, he's dead. It doesn't matter because he got a better deal to go to the Supernatural. So he's whatever.
Which he was still doing that show when the Flash and all that was still an Arrow.
Right?
Like, I mean,
he almost outlasted the Flash. I'll just say that.
The game
he outlasted Arrow.
It obviously won't happen, but given the dismal reviews of 4 Sony live-action Spider-Man less movies so far, would you personally stop making them or essentially focus on the animated Spider-Verse?
Focus on the animated, but
I saw on the game. If you want some financial-ish thoughts about it, Pod33 on Twitter is a great follow, and he basically broke down the budgets for these, and that's why you might still get these going. This was 75 million, I think the budget for this film was to have it filmed, done, see you later. And Morbius was the same price, I think. So Venom movies were a little bit more, I think they're in the 100, but they're no like 150 million budget. So that's the reason these are still going. Personally, me, I would sell the rest of the characters to Marvel, but
Disney.
And I would just keep doing the Spider-Man animated movies. But again, that's just because I don't think they have anybody running things like really good. I don't want them to do anything with the animated. Like, don't mess with that. Keep going with that, please. But yeah,
I mean, we'll get one more Spider-Verse. I don't know if we'll get. I think we're done after that, right? After Beyond.
Yeah. And again, I think Venom is the last one of these Sony movies that we know of, especially when you keep getting these dismal reviews.
They got Craven coming out. Craven's coming out this year.
Oh my God, I forgot about Craven.
You forgot about Craven.
Yeah, they have nothing. Well, they have Venom. They have nothing set up the film after Venom.
Venom's another one of those. Yeah, Venom's one of those where the first one somehow succeeded.
Yeah.
Actually, my best description of that one is everybody in their roles is taking the film seriously, and then Tom Hardy's acting it like a comedy. So you got everybody acting like a drama, Hardy as a comedy, and somehow it works. And then you get Let There Be Carnage, where they knew what they were making. You also had Andy Sudeikis, directing. So he's a good director. I don't know. It made money.
I'm with you, Alan. Game though. I'm over these Sony films. Like I would much prefer to see Venom in the MCU, but again,
maybe we'll get it. Well, we did get it for like a second.
I can't, in good conscience, advise Sony to sell Spider-Man rights back to Marvel. Like I can't. That would be the dumbest decision they ever did. But
well, no, they just need to do what Universal's doing with Hulk. Keep the rights. Keep the distribution rights. They
don't have the rights anymore. I thought Hulk rights. I think somehow that ran
You're
out and
right.
has gone back now. Or it goes back in 2025 or something like that.
I think you're right. Yeah. But for the longest time though, they were like, "Hey, if you want to use Hulk, we have to give the okay, no matter what."
Yeah, we have to we have to distribute the movie. So Marvel's like, we don't want to lose.
They get the money.
Yeah,
exactly. So that's why they didn't use Hulk for the last shit.
And for me, I just want to jump in on Run for a couple because we got a little sidetracked there with the question. For Run, I really enjoyed that. I watched this multiple times. This was the episode I watched. I recorded this on VHS and watched it multiple times. When I got the DVDs, I watched this multiple times.
We also got the answer of who's faster.
Yes, and this helped set up the Justice League episode in season 6. That was amazing. They had the actor who plays Flash on the Talkville podcast, and he essentially he didn't say there was no rumored show or anything like that or spinoff. They just told him that you did a good job and you'll probably be back. Iggy said, "What are your thoughts on Max Price is now $10? Do you think WBD will have to sell everything?" Are you talking about their stock price? I think you are. It's not great.
Stock, or is it like $10 for the low
service
tier?
It could be that, or I know their stock's pretty low. And honestly, it's because of the review that just came out. It's just not great because it just ruins all the progress they made about paying down their debt. There's blood in the water. That's basically what I'll say, Iggy. I'm not sure. I don't even know if they'll have to sell everything. They may get taken over. If the offer comes, they have to present it to their shareholders. That is legally binding. That's the exact scenario that happened with Twitter. So I don't think someone's going to come in and pay way too much for this. But if their offers come in, they have to present them to the shareholders. And if you're at $10 a share and someone's coming in and offering you a lot more than that, you're going to be inclined to sell. So I'm very interested to see how it's going to go, Iggy. That's why I'm hoping that they just ride this wave out and keep going, and the DCU go strong, and the Harry Potter plans go strong, and we don't have to sell. But right now, it's not looking the greatest for WBD, in my opinion. Joe, I think that's everything.
I think so too.
Everything's good. Glad to have you back. See you next week with more DC goodness.
Well, maybe we'll see.
More DC content. More DC content.
We'll see what we can find for DC stuff.
Have to start digging out the old bag of ideas of opening topics.
Yep, exactly.
Until then, see you next week, everyone.
All right, bye, y'all.